And it says we're live.
Well, that's exciting.
Hey there, Carrington.
I am prepared to destroy you. I mean, hello.
You will lose.
I've got a lot riding on this. And
Yeah,
according to Twitter, I am the underdog.
that's what I was seeing. And I'm not quite sure why that is. Maybe
I
it's,
think I know why.
Age before beauty.
Because I got both of those going for me. I think the reason is I was looking at 8-bit chess programs back in the 80s because there were a number of matches like this played back when this stuff was new. And the software that you have selected seems to have repeatedly and consistently beaten the software that I have selected. So this is a little disappointing.
Well, I did my research before I picked my software.
Ah, yes. So it looks like we have indeed begun live, and we have a number of people watching us. So hello, everyone.
Excellent.
Feel free to comment as we go. We'll try to watch the comments. Now, Earl, why don't you start by telling us what software you are using to take up the championship mantle for the Commodore 64?
Indeed, I will. First off, in the blue corner, the Commodore SX64 computer is in use today. It is a portable Commodore computer with a 6510 microprocessor, which I'll say is 8 more than your puny 6502.
Is that how it works? Okay.
It has a single disk drive and a cute little color screen. It is running software called Cyrus 2. As Carrington mentioned, Cyrus 2 is a respected chess program in the 8-bit world. And that's what I'm using today. And because I'm so confident of my Commodore and Cyrus 2, I've actually opted to give Carrington the first move. So Carrington, tell us, what are you using in the red corner?
Well, here in the red corner, I am using a stock, fairly bare bones Apple IIe. I've gone with the extended version, so I'm going to be using a 65C02 as the processor. That C stands for advantage, but misspelled. And I was originally going to be using software called Sargon 3, but I have done sort of a last-minute switch for kind of technical reasons, manual reasons, and actually getting it to display a decent-looking screen. And I have switched over instead to Colossus Chess. So I'll be using Colossus Chess version 2 that I have here on my stock Apple IIe, and that is the software that will be defending the honor of the Apple II and which will destroy you mightily.
Well, may the best micro win.
No, I want to win. I don't think we should go with best or worst. I think it should just be me.
Now, let's tell the folks the ground rules that we've established here. We want to be able to compare apples and apples, or in this case, apples and Commodores. So, we've agreed to limit our moves to 2 minutes per move.
Right, but it should be probably usually much, much faster than that.
Yes, but we didn't want it to go longer than 2 minutes because that can become tedious, and as one tweeter put it, that might be a little bit like watching the paint dry or the grass grow or other things that move extremely slowly, like a snail traveling transcontinentally or something like that.
I think mine's currently set to use 30 seconds, so I'm going to do a quick change. 2 minutes is just crazy long, but if that's what you need, Earl, if that's what you need, then fine. So I'm looking at my manual here. I think this is how I do this, so we're going to go to 2 minutes and no seconds.
So I will change to level 5. The program that I'm using doesn't really have the ability to set a particular number of minutes. What it does instead is an approximation of that with levels, but I can force it to make a move after a period of time. So that's what I will do if it takes too long.
Right, and I have also looked up in my manual how to force a move here too. I'm all about speed. I'd be happy to limit these to 10 seconds. I think that would give me an advantage. Yours seems to have a much better look ahead than mine. So the shorter the time, I think the better it is for me.
Now, Carrington will be playing white. I'll be playing black.
Mm-hmm.
When Carrington makes a move, he will radio that over to me. I will type it in, and then my computer will make a move, and we'll do the vice versa.
Right.
and people can watch both of our chessboards as the game progresses to see who is winning and which Carrington isn't winning. So, Carrington, without further ado, because we do have 20 viewers that are waiting for this madness, this no-holds-barred cage match of 8-bit systems to begin, would you care to make the first move?
Absolutely. Okay, here we go. I think the Control G will force the move from my software here, and then I can reverse the board back around again. Okay, so my first move seems to be the computer has selected C2 to C4, and it's saying mate in 20.
Nicely done.
My software is very confident. So I have moved a pawn up to terrify you with its tininess.
C2 to C4. I am indeed intimidated, so much so that I moved G8 to F6.
So you have moved what they, in the chess world, call the horsey. I am going to counter with another pawn here. I'm sure this is just gripping our audience, these opening moves here. D2 to D4.
I thought they called
another
it
pawn.
the rocking horse.
Now, I should say as well that Colossus Chess that I'm using actually has a built-in little book of opening moves. So the first few moves are all determined by it looking up in a book.
Ah, very nice.
And it sort of picks them at random, and we'll just use one of the basic chess openings. I don't know which opening it has used. I'm going to call this the two-pawn prong.
Was that like the Queen's Gambit or something like that, moving like that? I thought that was something called the Queen's Gambit.
I'm going to say yes.
I have made my move, and my exciting move is E7 to E6.
So I think people watching this would definitely think that I'm winning. I think that goes without saying. And I before I announce this move, though you'll be able to see it, I will offer you the chance to concede honorably if you would like to just give up.
I would resign, but not yet.
Okay.
I mean, that would be cheating our viewers.
That offer is on the table, though. That offer still stands. Just to let you know.
You made a move, it looks like.
I did indeed. So I'm moving out my knight as well, B1 to C3. When I say that's me taking credit for somebody else because the computer's doing all the work here. Earl and I are really
As somebody pointed out to me at the Commodore Club meeting, it's not really the Commodore versus the Apple. It's more like the programmers of Cyrus versus the programmers of Colossal Chess. But
this is true.
Okay, my computer's thinking. It has thought. It has decided on B8 to C6.
C6. Oops, sorry. B8 to C6. My keyboard is still messing itself up. 8. Oops. I figured if I did that, it would just let me start again. So B8 to C6. There we go. My computer has asked for time to think.
Your computer's thinking, and it's thinking very colorfully.
The hard drive just spun, so I think we're beyond the book maybe, and it's begun to have to think about it. I have made what seems to be a very strange move, D4 to D5. My pawn is just making a mad run at your queen. In fact, this is called the Leroy Jenkins. My pawn is just going for it.
Well, your pawn's actually, I believe, making a smart move because I'll either have to take your pawn. I can't move one or the other things out of the way, or something of mine will get eaten. So let's do this.
This is mine
to D5
testing you out to see,
move.
Do you have the cojones?
Yes, you are. You're testing my resolve. And my computer is resolving.
And it finally has made you pause to have to think. I'm starting to move so crazily that your computer's like, what?
You're all over the board. It's the rope-a-dope.
Exactly. Again, I offer you the chance to concede.
Well, let's see what happens here. After this move, I'll think about it. If you checkmate me, I'll definitely concede. Okay, my move was C6 to E5. Wait, That can't be right, is it?
C6 to E5 is what it's showing.
C6
You moved your knight.
to...
Look, I'll do it on my computer.
Okay, I see it. C6 to E5. Sorry.
My
A little
computer
confused
didn't
there.
even have to pause. It immediately said, you know what, E2 to E4,
Okay.
mate in 2.
Fine.
I feel if I say that enough, it's eventually going to happen.
It'll eventually work,
Chess
right?
is, at the end of the day, as a lot of people know, chess is all about the smack talk.
Yeah.
There's really nothing to chess.
I mean, because when you go to the chess matches, yeah, that's basically what you see. I mean, people cheering, it's more raucous than soccer fans, really.
Exactly. A lot of throwdown, baby.
Yeah, I think chess probably in its etymology is closest to professional wrestling.
Now, looking at the clocks displayed on your monitor, I've got a much higher playtime, but I think that's just because there was a lot of time at the beginning while we were waiting to start.
Yes.
It got me at 13 minutes on my play clock. I'm like, really?
Yes. No. We were. Mine was just sitting there clocking away.
But I have forced you to consider.
Yep. I'm thinking. I've got until 04.
I think it's because you're looking, saying which of your knights is going to take which of my pawns. I really just think it's that.
This is fun.
I would prefer you to take the one on the left, but no, you didn't go for it, alas.
My move is F8 to C5.
My computer would like you to take that move back. You moved a bishop. That reminded my software that bishops were available, and it said, "Oh yes, the diagonal ones with the big hats." So I moved C1 to F4. My bishop is coming out and saying, look, I want you to move that horse. Do it.
C1 to F4 indeed, which is once again making me think. So, do we have any comments in the comment section?
Oh, you can make me switch over and try to look at comments. Okay, so let us look.
We might as well do something while my computer's thinking.
Okay, so yes, Mark has chimed in to say that Battle Chess is the winner for the C64.
I do not think so.
I had seriously considered coming with Battle Chess. Thinking, there you go, I'll just throw you. So that is a shame. For the most part, everybody is voting for you. So Rick says C64 is a more traditional opening, and also that the 6510 is obviously 8 better than the 6502.
It is indeed.
We got somebody saying Commodore already wins.
Wow.
So the comments
I've got the crowd in my court, Carrington.
I may go to Twitter soon and ask for some Apple II people to join.
You do. You need them to. Well, they're all still sleeping in. My computer has made a move, by the way. It says D7 to D6.
That is what I was expecting. My software is a bit of a maverick, though. So my software is going to say, I'm going to ignore my software, and let's just go with E1 to E8, checkmate. You didn't realize I'm playing the jetpack version, and
That's
my
right.
king can just go where it wants.
I didn't know you had power-ups.
In fact, I'm going to go E1 to E0. My king is just going to leave the board, and you just try to deal with that. No, I have instead moved B2 to B4. My software seems to say, you move a bishop, I'll move a bishop. You move a pawn, I move a pawn. I'm doing a bit of copying here.
Let's let it go. It's coming up and saying, hello, Mr. Bishop. But I believe I'll probably take your pawn, won't I? Why would I not? Or am I missing something here? Why would I not take your pawn?
Because it would be
bishop?
mean.
It would. It's not neighborly. But on the other hand, chess is that vicious game of...
I thought rock and roll was the vicious game. Is this rock and roll chess?
I thought love was the battlefield.
Horns, love is indeed a battlefield, yes.
I love this.
I think your computer is just pausing to think, well, it looks like I should take that, but it feels like a trap.
We're going up and down in viewers, by the way. We had 20, then we had 19, then 18, then 19. I don't
Then
know
they
exactly
realized
what
that this
happened
actually
there.
is just watching a chess game. So
Yes, but with two people doing great smack talk in between.
now Mark has
Come for the chess, stay for the repartee.
exactly. Hey, somebody from Saskatchewan is watching. That is delightful. Go
Yes,
Canada, I say. Hooray for
Canada.
us.
Mm-hmm.
So, but Mark asked, it'd be much better, or it says it must be better battle if both parties use the same program. I agree, but the Cyrus 2 isn't available for the Apple II.
You didn't
Which
have
is partly
Cyrus
why
2.
Earl wanted it, because it is the really good software and it wasn't available for my computer. Earl's mean is the takeaway from that.
Yes. Well, no, Earl's effective. I think that's what you meant to say.
Okay.
My computer moved E5 to G6.
I made you run away, and my computer immediately knows what it wants to do. So much for this whole 2-minute thing. F4 to G3. I'm basically sliding back.
F4 to G3.
That's called the Bishop Shuffle.
You've got great names for these things. They need you in the chess world, Carrington.
I think they do. I'm highly professional and highly proficient, and making it up as I go.
F4 to G3.
Yes.
It's done, and my computer is thinking.
Yes, I can't do it again. I've moved it as much as I can.
I still can't figure out why my bishop didn't take your pawn. What am I missing?
You're afraid.
What? You couldn't have reciprocated with your knight or with your rook or with any stinking other thing that I can see. I don't know why.
Feels like a trap.
I didn't just take your free pawn, but maybe.
I think there's a chance you're just a coward.
Well, it's not me. It's the Commodore. The question is, are you keeping up with the Commodore?
Oh God. Wasn't your computer?
The Commodore's keeping up with you.
God, yeah, whatever. The Apple II was called the personal computer, like the truly personal computer. And weren't you guys? What did that guy used to say that was computers for the masses that should have taken more classes? Something like that.
Something like that.
Something along those lines, there, Earl.
But I moved C5 to B6.
I say no. Pick a different one.
Sorry, you can't do it.
Oh. That was your bishop running away from my pawn. My move, my computer says, I don't need to wait for you. G1 to F5.
F3, do you mean?
Or F3, sure. I tried to slip that one in there. I'm glad you can see my screen.
1, moving out your other knight. G1 to F3, indeed. And my computer's blinking. Wow, we're up to 22 viewers. Yes! Some of your Apple II folks must have joined in.
Everybody by the end of this will be an Apple II fan. We are.
Oh, I'm certain of that.
Yep.
Because people love to go with the underdog. So black to move.
Your computer spends a lot more time thinking than my computer.
We should have played the theme to Jeopardy, although that technically would have been a copyright violation.
Right,
So
even if we hum it. What if we add words to it? And what if they're very rude words?
My computer will be yours. Yeah, see, I like it.
That wasn't nearly rude enough.
And that was less than 2 measures, so I think I'm okay.
You castled. The move of
I'm
cowards.
castling. I
have to look up in my computer how I enter. I think I just moved the king, and it'll castle probably. So you did
I think so.
a kingside castle, which I
Correct.
think I would enter E8 to G8 will make that happen. If not, I'll hit Control-B and go back. So E8 to G8 will castle for you? Okay, good. It did work.
Yay!
Sort of had to think about that one. I'm very unfamiliar with this software. Mine says F1 to D3.
F1. To D3. Off it goes.
My bishop is coming out to convert all of you. Domini, Domini, Domini. You're all Catholic now. And you have to tithe, and by tithe I mean give me a pawn.
That's powerful
totally
bishop.
How it works. It's totally how it works.
And
my bishop just had something to say to the knight, and they just want to hang out. I'm giving characters to mine. Mine are sort of hanging out, bishop and knight, and they're talking about each other, and the bishop's like, hey, do you see that knight? He's looking at you. No.
You looking at me? Hey, so
I will say as well, my pieces control more of the board than you because of that one pawn. You only have 3 lines, so I'm currently winning 5-3.
Oh, okay. So if the computer's suddenly have smoke coming out of the top of them, then
Yes. No, chess is scored by rows, I think,
you would, yeah.
columns. So
I
instead of winning on
if
rows.
I get over to the other side, I can say king me, can't I?
Yes.
Or don't I say
I'm going to start to do a couple of checkers moves.
okay?
What did you
My
just do there?
computer says c8 to d7.
Okay. I moved a bishop last time. Now you're copying me. It used to be the other way around. This is a real turn of events. Twitter needs to know about it.
It is. It's a spin. Did you say e1 to g1?
I didn't, but I'm about to. E1 to G1. You can castle, I can castle. Castling used to be the move of cowards. It's now a brave and sensible move.
Gotcha. Yes.
It's remarkable how context means everything when it comes
To the victor go the spoils.
Yes.
So
Who is
now I'm
Victor?
thinking. I'm thinking about your castling. Victor is one of the pieces on the board, right?
Now, Iron Farmer, hello, friend of the show, he says he thinks the Apple II is using TAC-SCAN formations. I think that is not true, but good game, and I like that that reference. Well done, you.
I think that I'm about to put up my shields and come out with quantum torpedoes.
Those are not permitted here.
Wait, is that the wrong game?
Now, people have commented that my video seems clearer than yours. So at some point we should talk about how it is, the hoops we have jumped through to get these videos to be displayed. Google Plus does not make this easy.
No, it did not. Now, yes, first, make my move, which is d8 to e7.
I thought you were saying I could make the move for you, and I was like, awesome. I'll do it. So you have moved your queen. And I immediately countered. My software is so much faster than yours. I should get like 2 of your pieces just for the speed. So I moved my rook, A1 to C1.
And while mine's thinking, I will speak for a moment about, yes, the output from my Commodore 64 is going through a composite video cable into a DV camcorder, which is going via FireWire into my computer, which is being displayed by an application called DV Player, which is then being shared on desktop sharing with Google Hangouts. So there. That's what it took to get my live computer. We're not playing with emulators. We're not playing with, there's, nothing up my sleeve. Don't pay any attention to the man behind the curtain. This is real computers, folks.
Yep, and I had to go through just as many hoops to get mine to display. Google Hangout does not want to show anything but webcam. So I'm using Apple II composite into an EasyCap, which is just a really simple USB dongle that will bring in a composite video as a camera, basically. That gets piped over to CamTwist, which is broadcast switching software that lets you take any video feed and sort of pump it to something else. And the reason I'm doing that is simply I couldn't get Google to see the EasyCap software and its windows no matter what I did. Won't even, if you try to screen share them, it won't even see them. It'll bring up a blank script. So I pipe it over to CamTwist, bring that up as a preview as if I'm switching to it. So I've got this preview window open that's just showing what's in EasyCap, and then I screen share the preview window over to Google Hangouts, and then that made it display. So because of that, I get a fairly crisp display because it's not having to resize it at all, so that's nice, and it's not jittery, but it's a real pain, and it kicked up my my computer's fans like in 10 seconds. So,
your screen is very crisp.
yes.
I think that the resolution
As commented that my
of the
awesome, and that I'm going to win because of it. That may not be what he said, but I'm going to choose to believe it.
Well, then choose this, e6 to e5.
I choose no. You wish. You wish. Okay, so I have responded with h2 to h3, another little tiny move. And we have a number of people commenting on the particular moves done, like the queen to play was a good move. I don't actually understand most of the chess moves that are being mentioned in the comments, other than Mark Honey just said Bobby Fischer has just rolled over in his grave. Best comment. That's awesome.
I figured that we would get not just some retro computer enthusiasts, but some chess enthusiasts watching
the video. Who know more
video.
about this than us. We're basically just retro computer guys, and we decided to do this simply because we both have a deep love of the old computers in general, but I'm very much an Apple II guy, and Earl is very much stained by association with the Commodore 64. So this is a nice way for us to just sort of do virtual battle.
I prefer to use terms like enriched. Um,
You might
and
prefer it to
and
redefine those words.
my enriched move is F8 to E8. I'm just making little itty bitty moves just to try and psych you out.
You can do it. I used to play chess a lot as a kid, but I was never particularly good at it. I was good the way like a normal 8-year-old is good at it. So, and I sort of left the game behind after that. I do not have the attention span for it. So I respond with B4 to B5, and I actually want to high five your bishop. So my pawn has the hand out and says, "Don't leave me hanging, bro." That's the "don't
And
leave
my
me hanging,
bishop
bro."
says, "I'm sorry, I can't move that way."
Well, I'll hold it out on an angle.
Yeah, hold it out diagonally.
My bishop is now going to rotate 45 degrees and come
become
straight
a rook?
forward in a surprise move.
Violating every rule of chess, the Apple II thinks out of the box.
I should be able to use other Apple II things. I should be able to like send the choplifter helicopter to pick up a couple of your pawns and bring them back. I should be able to do stuff like that.
I will jump on all of your pieces with Jumpman.
Excellent. So you're still thinking. Your software definitely does spend more time pondering than my software.
One of the most famous games for the Commodore 64 was Impossible Mission, and I don't want to think of that phrase in this context. I don't want this to be an impossible mission. Instead, I want to move F6 to H5.
And so you have.
So there.
I immediately do the bishop fake out, which is G3 to H2.
Ah.
Because I'm about to swing around outside the board and come up behind. I'm gonna flank your knights actually on the outside of the board. I'm playing with a larger board than you. I entered a larger board.
You're actually playing with that 15 by 15?
Exactly. Yeah.
Yes.
Mine folds up and over because I want to be able to have air support. Which is going to surprise the heck out of you.
Three-dimensional chess. That would be fun. If I were Spock.
Again, you pause to think. Thinking is for cowards. Just make your move.
Yeah, what is up with all this thinking? I'm going to have to, get my money back for this software. And as it thinks, we remind you that we're brought to you by the Tube of You.
Yes. We have a great comment by Steven, who just said his 11-year-old now beats him in chess quite a lot.
Oh, well, that's good.
Right.
That's good. So H5 to F4. Yeah, I think actually chess is a really good game for young people to learn. It teaches a lot of different skills, including concentration, which concentration is a good thing these days.
How to lose gracefully.
Manners, yes indeed. Did you do C1 to C2?
I may have. I wasn't really going to tell you about that one. I was going to sneak a second move in.
Sneak it in?
Just like, let me move a couple. I'll let you have more moves later.
Oh, I see. Like after I lose?
Yes.
To move or not to move?
I say you don't.
The
I
question.
You should pass.
I don't think you can pass.
You could pass.
You can't
I think
pass.
you should take over and you pick the move next time.
What other things can I do in chess? I think I can go for the three-pointer.
I don't know what that means.
Oh, that's right. You're Canadian. That's a basketball thing, Carrington.
Oh, right. That's the one that isn't hockey, right?
Right. I should have used a curling reference. You'd have got that.
Right. That's not hockey in shorts versus not hockey with shoulder pads. You've got a few not hockeys down there.
So C7 to C6 is my move. Over to you.
Oh, I'm already know what it's going to do. It's just thinking to make you think that it wasn't sure. I do D5 to C6.
D5
to C6, and I believe that's me taking your pawn.
I believe it is. D5 to D6.
That is the first piece taken of the game, baby.
Yahtzee. That's true.
And I believe we were playing to a score of 1. So I win.
We have not had any gobbles up to that point. Isn't that amazing? Lots of gameplay, and no, the computers are not being anywhere as aggressive as they were last night when we were practicing this stuff.
Now let's tell the audience about that practice game and how it turned out.
Yeah, I think I won 3 out of 3, didn't I?
Whatever, dude.
B7 takes C6.
I'm not going to tweet about that one.
Sorry, I hope I didn't overmodulate there.
B7 to C6, was it?
Yes. B7 to C6. Yahtzee. I'm throwing in every reference to every game I possibly can, just to show that I'm a polyglot.
Now, I have responded with C3 to A4 because I ain't taking it.
C3 to A4, did you say?
Yes.
Ah, okay. You're moving up in the world. You're threatening my mighty bishop.
Yes, I am. I would also like to point out that I just tweeted that the Apple II got first blood.
Yes, it did.
I will not tweet about any of your good moves. You're on your own.
Oh, man. You mean like that checkmate move?
But I was very happy that I won last night. But when we played the test game, we set the computers to have no thinking time at all. They had to basically move immediately. And I was using
computers
Sargon
were pretty much in
2.
super stupid mode.
Yeah, and Sargon 2 actually took that one. It was a rapid and high loss piece game. Very quickly, we were down to like 2 pieces each.
So you could say that Sargon wins in speed chess, which is an actual variant of this. So C6 to B5.
Oh no! You sunk my battleship. Isn't that how this works?
Jim.
So that's not good. So A4 to B6. Clearly, I'm just saying take my knight. I'll take your bishop, so I'm going to exchange a knight for a bishop.
To B6. Chomp, chomp, chomp.
Because presumably you won't just let me take your rook next. It would be nice if you did.
One would think that I wouldn't just go, what's a bishop between friends?
You're taking a long time thinking about it. Is there...
It doesn't seem to be that much to think about, does it?
There
we go. I made the right move. As always, A7 to B6.
Very unpopular move.
Another num.
So C4 to B5. The
C4 to
taking is stepping up now. So my pawn takes
Yes. We are now... we're no more Mr. Nice Guy.
Oh, and in the comments, Kirk had also commented first blood. I'm with you on that one. That's exactly what I had been thinking. And Mark says, "What is tweet?" Mark, you live in a better world than I do.
What's Twitter?
Oh gosh, I wish sometimes I didn't know.
What's Facebook? I did actually Facebook this. I don't know how many people would watch because of that. But...
Can Facebook be used as a verb, or am I just old and I think not everything should be a verb?
I'm dodging that question and instead saying D6 to D5.
So you're going to D5 it? That will be a new verb. I'd like to point out you didn't take a piece in that move. But
That's
I,
true.
on the other hand, want the pieces to keep falling, baby. The fewer the pieces, the better my software likes it. So H2 to F4.
H2.
Say goodbye to your knight. And then, presumably, say goodbye to my bishop next.
To F4.
So, which do you think? Neither of us knowing anything about chess, do you take my bishop with your pawn, or do you take it with your knight? Which do you think is going to swoop down and take me out? I'm going to vote your knight.
I think the knight, because then the knight could threaten your other bishop.
That's what I'm thinking too. Well, you won't threaten my bishop because my bishop is really macho and does not feel threatened by such things.
And thus it did. G6 to F4. Let's see how your bishop feels now, huh? Huh? Tough guy?
I go F1 to E1, which doesn't seem like such a great move. But I'm hoping it knows something I don't know.
F what? Well, I mean,
Aren't you just going to take my bishop?
Yeah, maybe.
And I will just be now. Of course, then I would take you with my queen. Maybe I guess that's my software doesn't think you'll do that trade.
So F1 to E1.
Right.
Done. One and done. So let's see what happens now, tough guy. We got 25 viewers. You're quaking in your boots, aren't you? Or do Canadians even have
Commodore
boots?
64 fans.
Do you have boots up there? Or do you call them something different?
We call them boots, and we often speak about them.
I knew you were going there. I knew you were going there.
I could not resist such things.
I just knew it. My computer's still thinking, isn't it?
Not very well.
Well, computers do have the marvelous IQ of 0. Oh, I'm coming all the way down to see you there, buddy. A8 to A3.
Don't do it. A8 to A3.
Just, visiting while I'm in town.
So I seem to have gone D3 to F1.
D3 to F1. Let's see what that does for you.
And I would prefer you... So D, like dog.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing, aren't I?
Right. Yeah, so it's the bishop.
Yeah, down here.
Again, over there.
Coming alongside your king.
My guys are in what's called a huddle. It's an official chess move called the huddle, where all my non-pawn pieces just sort of gather around the bottom. And
I thought it was the hustle.
Okay, attack the queen on 3. 1, 2, 3. Attack the queen, and they're all going to run out. It's going to be awesome. You wait. There's not enough body checking in this.
They will say tally ho. Because
I would hope that they do say tally ho.
Because we've played a lot of minutes of chess now, and neither one of us has said tally ho.
No.
Which
is that a thing that happens in chess?
It's a glaring omission.
Pretty sure that's not a thing.
D5 to D4.
I'm going to say no.
Okay. Move.
You're daring me to take that with
using the en passant move rejection technique.
No, that's not anything. So I wiggle my bishop. The bishop that just went down there, I'm basically putting it back. So F1 to C4.
F1.
The bish comes out.
To C4.
And by C4, I mean I'm actually planting explosives there, and I'm going to take out like 3 of your pieces at once.
Ooh.
That should totally be illegal.
B4, I could do anything.
I can see how battle chess came about, because don't you just want to arm these guys?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Well, battle chess was remarkably fun. From what I've read, it doesn't play a particularly good game of chess.
Doesn't matter. It's armed.
But it's
awesome.
Very animated, yes. I really enjoyed playing that back in the day. And it was a great game for a demo, too, if you were trying to sell computers. It's like, hey, look at this. Chess, but, with more blood.
Chris just commented that. Sorry, I dozed off. Did something happen? Nope, they're still playing chess. Nicely done.
D4 to D3.
No. D4
Apparently,
to D3.
all of our, witty back and forth here is not as impressive as we think it is. Although we're up to 26 viewers, so I'm going to say we must be doing something right.
Oh, this is good. C2 to D2. Build some tension.
To
basically, I'm sliding my my rook over, my little castle piece.
Over it goes. C2 to D2. And my computer says.
I'm pretend I'm going to take that pawn, although you got like all of your pieces ready to swoop on that spot. So odds are good I won't. But
it's a very hotly contested spot at the moment.
Yep, all about that spot.
It's
I think it was to stop you
in
from
fact.
just stepping down and forcing my queen up, or you take my rook. I think it was something like that. And
yes, because look, I mean,
Ooh,
it's getting real now. It's getting real. E8 to C8. I'm bringing all of the artillery to bear.
I believe that move is actually called the Truffle Shuffle. That was in the Goonies. is when you slide over.
Now
So
you're
I
making me
moved
hungry.
4 to D3.
C4 to D3. You're
So I
moving
have
your
decided
explosives.
let's start swapping characters. So
Ooh,
I have moved in.
kaboom!
I'm
This
daring you to come and take it with one piece, and then I'll take you, and then you'll take me. So it would
this is
seem that
gonna
I'm
get
about to lose a
nasty.
bishop and a rook, and you're about to lose either a
Uh,
rook or a knight and end up with the other
I'm,
one in there. And do you think that's how this will play out? You take me, I take you, you take me,
I
I take you, and then
I
the king
think
just ends up
so. I think the only winning move is not to play. I
against
had
me
I
and
had
my
to sneak
Apple
that in
II
there somewhere.
goodness.
Your Apple II 8-slot tastiness.
Exactly. I have not a lot in the slots in this at the moment.
Yeah, you were mentioning it was fairly bare bones,
Yeah, I've
but
got another Apple II that is my main one,
but
but
you're
this one
running
was
with
just easy
twice
to
as
slide
much
over.
memory as mine, right? Because yours has probably 128K.
No, this one is I went with a 48K stock. I didn't want any excuses, so this is my low end, just as it came from the factory one.
Very cool.
Yep, and I'm still going to beat you.
E7 to C5. Oh, it's getting
That's
more exciting.
I guess so that you would. I was trying to sucker you into, hey, let's exchange all the pieces, and I guess you bringing your queen down made me change my mind.
D3 to B1, you say?
I do indeed.
D3 to B. Whoops, the other way. B1. Now, why did you do that?
My bishop, he slides around. It's the sliding bishop.
He does.
I already pressed the
bishop
D
shuffle.
character, so I got to watch what I press next. Because when you had said it, I thought that was your move, so I pressed the D and went, hold on.
Oh, sorry.
So,
Sorry.
No, it's all good. It's all good. Who knows? So I pre-selected that column. I'm hoping you move something from the D column.
People are jumping in now. Of course, there will be reruns available of this gripping
Depending on the
match.
outcome, there may or may not be.
Otherwise, Carrington may delete the video.
Oh,
and
Archon versus
remove all
Archon is a
history.
suggestion. That's a great one.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, Archon. Yes.
Archon.
Mhm.
No, again, it has to play them out. So we take the piece and then has to redo battle and I decide who wins. Who knows?
Yeah, with knives.
So you're
and
still
sticks.
thinking.
I am, because that was
But I
a
did
great
get you to bring out
Yeah,
that.
I retreated. I retreated a little bit. Hey,
I
come
would
on,
hope
Commodore.
so.
D7 to E8.
You did
is
move
my
the D.
move.
Excellent. I am avoiding the obvious joke. So to E8. Keeping it clean. Keeping it clean.
Very well.
I hope you
Very well
appreciate
done.
it because it's difficult for me.
D2 to C2.
No.
What's what you moved?
Yeah. Okay. Just, I want even better moves.
Wait,
I only
did
like the ones
just
where I take one of your pieces.
D2 to C2. There we go. All right. We're doing remarkably well at
I
not
think I'm
goofing
doing
up on any of the
remarkably well.
moves.
They're just here.
I'm going to knock on real wood just to. What did I do? I did
did your slide A3
A3 to C3.
to C3. So you brought out, and I immediately said, "What? What? I'll take it."
C2 to C3.
Yep.
Here
And
we
I
go.
decided let's just exchange rooks, because no doubt you are coming down.
C2 to C3. Blammo. You have
So
to
my
say
software
blammo. Or it
does seem
doesn't
to be
work.
very willing to just exchange pieces.
And I'm assuming my queen will take.
I think your queen will run away. I'm hoping your queen just moves one over to the right, and I just scoot by and take your other rook.
My queen has to take your rook. That must happen. And there it goes. C5 to C3.
Rise above the cliche,
Kaboom.
dude.
Think out of the box, or
Come
in this case,
on.
out of the 64 boxes.
You made the obvious
Ooh,
move.
I just realized chess has 64 squares. I am destined to win this game.
I've only got 48K. Uh-oh. So if you move around those outside edges...
You won't be able to get me. I'm out
trouble.
of your range. I'm in
So I
your
moved
ROM stick.
A2 to A4. My pawn said, I'm making a run for it. Leroy
A2.
Jenkins.
To A4. Off it goes. That made me really stop and think. Ooh,
It says next
I
we
don't
should
know
speed run
what I'm
Zork.
gonna do
That's a
now.
very good suggestion, actually.
Do what?
Speed run Zork. I think that's and
I don't
Jim
know what that
responded
means.
that the 5141 is not a help for that. I agree. We should speed run things that are very disk intensive. I will just beat you because of that.
Yes, I'm not putting the 1541 up against your fast stinking Apple II disk drive. There's no way that's going to happen. C3 to C5, it looks like, was my move.
Your queen is running away like a coward. I go B1 to A2.
B1 to
And that,
A2.
when they look back on the game,
That will be the pinnacle
moment that clinched my victory.
Yes, that will be the because you actually are putting yourself in line in a diagonal with my king.
Right.
By doing that.
Now, at the moment in pieces, I do think I'm ahead.
It's possible. I haven't been paying attention. I've been,
well, I mean, we both have
stuff,
sort of
cleaning up the house.
4 non-pawns. Wasn't that a band? 4 non-pawns?
I think it was. Yeah, I have one of their albums.
Maybe I just think I'm ahead because I want that to be the case.
So I scooted my king over because he didn't like being in the line of fire of your bishop. So I said G8 to F8, just for grins. He said, no, I see you down there. I can only move one spot at a time, but I know what you're doing.
I'm slowly creeping up on that spot. I go A2 to B3, nothing to see here.
A2 to B3.
My
correct?
bishop has now put on a disguise and appears like a pawn.
Wow, he's like the spy in TF2.
Exactly.
He can be any piece.
Then I changed my mind. All my pieces are queens.
Okay, so my computer's trying to figure out what to make of your little creepy bishop that's creeping. It's thinking, and it goes, I don't know, that guy's just, he's worrying me. It's like he's trying to sneak up.
Now, are you manually controlling our screen switches, or are you just letting it go when we speak?
I'm just letting it go when we speak because when I tried to manually control it before, it just, it stopped sharing my screen. It did all kinds of nasty stuff.
That's right. So yes,
Thanks for
sorry
nothing,
about that.
Hangouts.
For the people watching, I want to bring that up because I know some people are having a little difficulty following it because we switch so much because neither of us can just shut up and play. But that's just not how we roll. But yeah, when we tried before, if we tried manually switching it, so you can sort of watch one for a whole move and then watch the next. Unfortunately, Earl, being a C64 guy, can't keep his screen up.
F7 to F6. Hey now. No talking about using floppies.
So my pieces immediately responded. No hesitation again. My software just does not want to pause. And I moved D1 to D2, which is...
now you're creeping your queen. You're going just a little here, little there. But you're D1 to D2. You're putting my knight in some danger.
I like to call it knight check.
Yeah. I'm glad that you're not on the whatever committee made up the rules for chess. Of course, that was thousands of years ago, but it would have been a way different game had you been alive then, Carrington.
Well, because I wouldn't be alive now.
That's a very good point, actually. E8 to H5. I'm saying, oh yeah? Oh yeah? Actually, why did I do that?
Well, all I know is mine decided to make a run at you, and I have moved D2 to D7, which made my queen just leap up into your territory. It's time for things to get real there, Earl.
Yeah, we haven't had a check yet. So D2 to D7. And whoosh, now it's my turn to move. I wonder how I'm going to handle this. Your queen is actually scary close.
Nah, I'm not going to take your rook because you'll take it with the queen.
Oh, no. No, I understand that, but you're all up in my space. I'm not digging that at all. So my computer's really thinking about how it's going to allow my queen to suddenly become a knight and take your queen
See,
when
I
you're not
suspect
paying
what
attention.
my computer wants to do is move the knight over beside your queen where you can't take it, and then I can jump in. But you're forcing my hand by moving your bishop.
So that was actually not bad. That was not a bad defense. Get the bishop up there, bring some horsepower home. And so my move was h5 to e8.
And I have entered that, and then my computer immediately responded because it knew what we were going to do. Because, like, whatever. And I responded with d7 to d8.
Go
which,
home.
again, just moves my queen back down into a little huddle.
Go home, Queenie. God won't save you here. Even if you play the song, and Carrington can because he's in Canada.
I think it's hilarious. Chris has just pointed out on the comments that one of the suggested related videos on YouTube is Satan's Hollow, which people who follow the other podcast I'm on, No Quarter, will know that's one that we reviewed. It's awesome.
Ah.
Bring on the video games, baby.
I think I made a move.
Not a very good one.
c8 to c7. Well, says you.
You move a rook. I move a rook. You moved it down, I move it up. So I go e1 to e3, which is basically just sliding my rook up.
There must be a motive in your madness. We figured this game would take, what, about maybe 1 to 2 hours?
I think it'll take a lot less than that.
Yeah, I think I'm about to checkmate you. I'm not sure exactly how. That's the problem.
But you just feel it, do you?
I feel it. I feel it in my bones. Now, if I lose, of course, it's because I used the portable version of the Commodore 64. If I'd used the full-blown, bread bin Commodore 64, then...
So that's a good question. Why was it that you selected to go with the SX64 instead?
It was easier to get on the table next to my other computer where I could hook up all this jazz. All that stuff we talked about before. E8 to D7.
I have indeed slid your bishop over, and I respond by moving my queen up, d1 to d2.
Okay. Let's try that and see what happens. D1 to D2. Yeah, the SX64 was really handy in this case because I didn't have to lug over a disk drive and plug it in, and another monitor and all that kind of stuff is just nice and self-contained. So I was very happy.
Yeah, I'm currently running the Apple II headless because I've just got the video cable running into my
going straight into the capture.
Pro. So yeah, so there's no reason to have a monitor sitting on top of it.
And black to move again. Is it a bad sign if smoke is coming out of the top of my computer?
It's a good sign. It's a sign of concession.
We didn't talk about things like forfeit rules. Like what happens if, my computer just melts? Ooh,
then I win. Ooh. I don't like this. First check move.
C5 to C1 is
forcing
my move.
Me to exchange queens, presumably.
Ooh.
My goodness. I wonder if I will do that. So we will see. So you moved C5 to C1. Very unpopular move.
Check, baby.
That's not how it's pronounced. It's chess. You said it wrong.
You're moving your rook down to interpose? E3 to E1? Is that what I'm seeing?
Yep.
All right. It's not a bad move. E3 to E1.
E3.
Oh. Now, why did my queen get all boisterous when now she's just going to have to run off?
Now, hold on. You said E3 to E1?
That's what you made.
Oh, thank you. I'm like, you always say it like I'm moving it. I was tweeting, so I wasn't looking at the screen.
I'm going to start being more specific. Earl's move is C1 to D2.
No, I don't permit that one. I don't like that move. That move makes me sad. I think we should just stop the game here. Isn't this like a fun thing to do? You're going to take my queen, man.
I did, but then you're going to take mine, and mine was the one getting all boisterous.
How am I taking yours? With my knight? Like I'm going to do that?
Yeah, you are going to do it.
Without hesitation, baby. F3 to D2.
F3 to D2.
So we are now running queenless.
Bye-bye, queen. We barely knew thee.
Other than my pawns are now going to make a run for the end.
And off they go.
And I'll say queen me. Or I'll say king me. And I'll say to jump
sprint.
over you. I'm bringing a couple of checkers characters.
Your pawns cannot sprint. I've seen them.
Can.
They are in terrible shape. No cardiovascular.
Throw the pawn. Because of that.
That would be cool too. If other pieces could pick you up and give you an assist. Clearly, we are irreverent when it comes to this ageless Game of Kings.
Is that what it's called?
I think so. Or was it Game of Thrones? No, that's a TV show.
I'm cutting your queen's head off.
Yes, no. Unlike that, this is PG. Black to move, it says. And thus I do. Ooh, that's an interesting move. C7 to C3. Put that in your pipe and smoke it.
It has been smoked. I say E1 to E3.
Okay.
There's been a comment that the Black Queen may actually be a were knight.
E1 to E3 is your move?
Yes.
Okay. Carrington's move, E1 to E3. I'm being more specific now so that you don't try and do both your moves and my moves.
I want to do your moves.
You can only
I choose for you to move your king just forward haphazardly and make a run at my pawns.
You already took my queen, and I still haven't forgiven you for that.
You took mine first, dude. That was
but that was okay.
I see. Okay.
So my move
you took my rook.
Is C3 to E3. And I've got a sneaking suspicion about your move.
Yeah, no pause at all. F2 to E3, you take my rook, I smack you back rook-wise.
Yeah, see? It's mutually assured destruction.
And I force you to move your knight.
Yes.
Or just take it. Take it. Take it.
Red room.
We are soon going to be down to pawns.
And when that happens, then the apple automatically loses.
I think that's not.
That's
so what if you said this plays to a draw?
Ooh, it could. Oh, now all of our smack talk, you had to go and say that.
If it plays to a draw, we have to set it so it gets 2-second moves, and we have to go through a speed run. Draws are not acceptable.
I said F4 to D3. That's what I said. You know, I have never taken two minutes on a move here.
The move of a coward, B3 to my bishop come down and says, no, knight, you may not stay there.
B3 to C2, Carrington's move?
Yep.
And off it goes. Of course, there will be a full transcript of the moves that Carrington will be typing in later on after the game.
Will there?
Well, that's what you said.
E1 to E8, checkmate, I win. I'm just going to summarize the game down to one.
Was it my turn?
It is, you, I believe, just moved.
Yes, D3 to B4 is what I did. Earl's move.
You ran away. You ran away. Oh, my goodness, you've actually made my computer pause to think for a second. But only for a second. So I move my bishop again, C2 to D1.
C2 to D1. You're retreating. You yellow-bellied. I don't even know what yellow-bellied means. What does that mean? What are the root of some of these sayings?
Well, you know how Commodores will have a bit of yellow in them.
I've seen some pretty yellowed Apple IIs. You need some retrobrite, in fact, yourself, Carrington. Not your computer, just
Just me. Dude,
you.
I am as pale and white as any geek ever. If I put retrobrite on me, I would actually disappear.
You have the hacker tan. Yes. D7 to, is that E6? Yeah, D7 to E6 is Earl's move.
D7 to E6.
We are up to 28 viewers, and we thank you. Because if you guys will watch us doing this, you'll watch us doing anything.
Chris has commented that this is quickly turning into the end of War Games. But Michael has predicted a check coming from the knight.
Did
Yours
you do,
or mine? I believe yours.
Did you do a move?
Yes, I have moved G1. I want to say to F8, but G1 to F2.
G1 to F2. You're bringing out your king.
Yeah, my king is not a coward like your king. Your king is clearly coward. Howard.
Your king's more like Putin, shirtless, riding on the horse.
It is.
Kind of thing.
It is very Putin king. Putin king sounds like a word.
Hey, honey, could you fetch me some of that Putin king? Sounds like a food, actually.
Copycat.
And I made a move. Also, my king says, ha, ha, ha. That's all it said. Which translated as F8 to E7.
So I immediately respond to your copy move by saying that I will move my bishop, trying to entice you to move your bishop, and I moved D1 to E2.
D1 to E2, and so it was written, and so it was done.
It wasn't actually written anywhere. Oh, yes, on screen it was written.
It was written on screen. That counts, electronic signature.
So what year is your software from? Mine is copyright 1985.
1986.
Oh, you have a 1-year advantage.
So I'm a little bit more state-of-the-art.
Was there great chess advances in the year 1986 that I should be worried about?
We're about to see, aren't we? E7 to D6 is Earl's move.
You continue to advance your king. Interesting. So I respond.
Yeah, I'm actually not sure why I'm doing that. I don't know what that's all about. What did you respond?
E2 to C4 is my move.
E2 to C4. Interesting. Protected by your knight, you feel that you can get all uppity with my bishop.
I'm all up in your bishop.
But my bishop's going to show you that it's not scared to trade. I don't think so. What's going to happen here? What's your prediction?
I predict I'm going to take your bishop.
Well, I did as I thought I was going to do. E6 to C4. Which you're then going to take with your knight. I'm pretty certain.
Yep, without even pausing. So I respond by saying D2 to C4. We are down to a game of knights and kings.
D2 to C4. Wow.
Now, the fact that I have one more pawn than you.
You put me in check for the first time. Did you see that?
Yes. I want to savor it. It's lovely. And I have one more pawn than you, and that pawn's going to make all the difference.
When you get down to this level, one pawn does actually make a difference. For the first time, I'm actually scared. And by scared, I mean I'll come up and harass your knight directly with my king. I went D6 to C5.
D6 to C5. I didn't even need to think about that. My software was like, well, of course, the obvious response would be C4 to B2.
C4?
Inconceivable.
To B2. That's fascinating. Why did you move there?
Because I didn't want you to take my knight.
C4 to B2. I know, but why
I had to move it away somewhere. I would have Well, no, see, I could have taken your pawn, but then you would take me. If I
That's
moved
not a good trade.
all of the rest of my moves, you would have been able to take me, either with your knight or your king.
So then that was a good move, is what you're saying.
It was
I
the
don't really
best
see it that
move.
way.
It was the
Uh,
best. It was the
wow,
best of moves. It was, you know what? It was just the best of moves.
this could get incredibly boring at this point.
And we've lost all our viewers.
No, actually, we have 29 viewers. Well, 28, 27, 26, 25. Come back! Okay.
Oh, fellow podcaster Dan Beeston has joined us. Hello, Dan. Everyone should run out and immediately listen to his podcast. Which is smart enough to know better. It is awesome.
You've got one more pawn than me, so I will go listen to it right now.
I am smart enough to pawn better.
H7 to H5. This ain't no pawn shop.
Oops, I spelled that wrong.
Illegal.
Attempting to change your move. I can't spell H7, apparently.
Breaking the law.
H is one of the more difficult letters to spell.
It says, let me think.
Bringing out the king, baby. F2 to F3, all hail my king.
There he goes again. He is gutsy.
Is that a word for fat?
You must update your slang dictionary.
Must I?
Although you knew how to spell irascible, and I didn't know how to do it. You knew that off the top of your head. When I was typing up the description for the show, Carrington overwhelmed me with his knowledge of the English.
In my mother tongue.
B4 to C2 is my name. I want to get all cozy there with your knight.
Oh, and once again, you have caused my software to actually pause for a second and think about what it's going to do.
Your software is going, what do I smell? Ah, it's one of Earl's knights. Ooh.
It smells the oncoming white king moving from F3 to E2.
F3.
Baby.
E2. Wow. There's no stopping that king. It's coming in, even though that puts him in a position where I could, well, no. No, actually, that's not so bad.
I would have thought I'd just move my knight over to put you back into check. But I guess we'll see what happens.
Yeah, there'd be no reason for you not to.
I wonder if you're going to move to try to stop me from doing that.
I went H5 to H4. I'm trying to sneak one of these pawns in so that I can get another queen and end this gracefully and with dignity.
The only way to do that is lose. In a surprise move, I slide my king over to say, hey, horsey, I brought you a carrot. E2 to D2. Nothing to fear. Stay where you are.
Interesting. That's a decent move.
That's not what I would have done.
It's not what I would have done either, which is why it's a decent move.
Exactly. It knows something I don't know. I would have moved over to put you in check.
Way smarter than I am.
King. I don't know.
But as you know, it's interesting how many times a stinking 8-bit computer with 64K of RAM has beaten me at chess. I feel completely unworthy. And my computer says C2 to B4 is the absolute best way to deal with this.
And I then immediately responded by moving my king up. I am pressing what I'm going to choose to believe is my advantage. By moving D2 to C3, my king just comes right at you.
Huh. Wow.
I don't play like no Commodore 64.
Stinking king? Our kings are, facing off now. Saying it's my board. No, it's my board.
More people have joined the comments, mostly voting for you. Boo! Boo to our commenters, I say. And, well, good comment, though. Poutine King is Canada fast food. I like it. That's actually really good.
Tasty.
Josh has commented that he's clear who he's rooting for because, Earl, you are his father.
I was really hoping that wouldn't get out, especially on a public podcast. But that check is in the mail.
Check, you say? What check? Oh, don't use those puns when we're playing chess.
Yes, indeed. B4 to A2 is my move.
Um, I decided to not let you just win, and instead I will move my king, but in a surprise move, I don't just leap 2 spaces and win, which I think my king should be able to do. Instead, I just slide to the right, C3 to D3,
C3 to D3, fine.
lulling you into a false sense of
Whatever.
security.
I got to get myself into a spot where I can eat some of these pawns, because if I don't, then this is going to go on forever.
Well, the pawns are just sort of stopping each other from making a run to the end of becoming another
Yeah, they're
queen.
all just, at some point, the computer's going to have to decide, hey, the pawns are the thing. Either they're going to take this
With
or...
which to capture my king. Uh-oh. You're going after my pawns, it looks like.
Interesting. C5 to B4.
And that was a foolish move on your part.
Perhaps.
He said, hopefully. Respond
Although
with
it does
D3.
put 2 of your pawns within my reach, which...
No, but one you won't take because I would take you with my knight. So, but I would like... I respond with D3 to C2. So I move my king over to... My king is going to get on the horse, and then I will have a very fast-moving king.
Nice.
That's legal in Canada. That's totally a legal move.
I should have consulted the international rule book before we started. I made Carrington's move, D3 to C2. And did my chessboard just go away?
I'm looking at it.
It went away for a second, and now it's back. Yay. I was scared Hangout was going to hang up. It's Google
As much
Hangout.
as I win, if
That's
you
what they
lose
should call it.
display, that's totally me winning, you coward.
I'm thinking
Good
about
comment,
what to do now.
just made by Iphon, who says it's fun to watch a game where the computer issues the instructions and the humans respond. That's a good point, actually. And also, Earl, your password is Joshua. Nice. Everyone commenting that basically, yes, this is like the end of War Games.
Which is hilarious because my son's name is Joshua.
I think next time we will just have them play tic-tac-toe against each other.
A2 to C3.
No, pick something else.
And then a little global thermonuclear
So
war.
this is quite the move you have just done. So really, what's going to happen now, he wonders. Like, I can't take the knight.
Think.
Oh, I move my pawn to say, hey, let's start exchanging, which might move your pawn out of my way, and my pawn can make a run for the end. So do you take my one pawn?
Oh, fascinating. What was your move? A4, A5?
My move is A4 to A5, but then do your pawn take mine, letting my pawn make a run for the end, or more likely, do you just now take my other pawn with your knight?
I think I take your one pawn with my king.
But then
the one that's right ahead of my king, because if I do,
no, you can, because then if I move my pawn forward, you'll just take it with your next move. So okay.
Right.
I'm trying desperately to get my pawns into play here.
But the computer is realizing, as I thought it might, that the pawns are the thing. Now that everything is decimated, we've decimated each other, which means chopping each other into 10 different pieces. Hence the prefix deci.
People in the comments are now saying, please don't let this be a stalemate. We're kind of hoping for that too. I did have to place a setting on my computer when you first launch it here.
I just did something that I think is extremely stupid.
I hope so, because those are my favorite of your moves.
B6 to A5. That was horrific.
Why do you think that?
Because watch what happens next.
My pawn makes a run for it, I assume.
Exactly.
Yeah, okay. B5 to B6.
Oh, this is terrible. What was I thinking? Maybe I chase you with my king.
Maybe you move your pawn down also to force me to move my knight. You'll just come at me. So B5 to B6. In fact, can we just say B5 to B8?
We can't. Sorry.
I believe it's down.
I could try it. I wonder what would happen. I think I
downhill.
chase you with my king, and then when you change, when you morph,
You just take it.
Like a beast.
No, but if you chase me with your king, I'm going to take your knight with my king. I hope you do chase me with your king. Come and get me.
I think my computer made a horrific move there. Like, I think that's the end of the game,
I'm
actually.
hoping that the people in the comments agree with you, but nobody's posted yet.
But I'm not giving up yet.
I
I'm
think you
waiting.
should. Are you sure? Because that offer's on the table. Giving up is totally on the table.
I'm waiting to see how Cyrus gets itself out of this hole that it has dug
Okay,
for
I'm willing to
itself.
give you 4 of my pawns, and you just say, give me your king. It's a 4-for-1
4 pounds
deal.
for
That's totally doable. Come on.
seems like a good deal.
I think so.
Like that used car I bought last week. I don't think
Hey, I sold you a great car.
I don't think the tires are a problem, really.
So your computer has indeed decided to think for a bit, and I don't think it likes what it's thinking about.
My computer is doing the popular meme. Wait, comma, what? It's going, what did I just do? Oh man, here I was over there thinking about playing some Jumpman. Okay, so my move is C3 to E4.
C3 to E4. So you basically you're going to just you're giving up on that, and you take my pawn, putting us in pawn equality. Actually, you've got more pawns than me now, but I move, of course, B6 to
Doesn't
B7.
matter.
I really don't care about my pawns. Feel free to take them. I want a queen.
Oh, this is terrible. What was I thinking?
I think you moved your knight mostly just so that I wouldn't take it.
Yeah, I mean, the computer's just playing statistics now, but wow,
Very popular game so far.
why did it not take the pawn with the king?
Through fear.
Uh, Now I'm doing something. I'm definitely doing something. B4 to C5. I'm making a run for it.
So B4 to C5.
I'm
So I respond, B7 to B8, give me a queen. And that is a major turning point in this game, I think.
well, that is the game. Wow. Which piece? Duh. Queen. My computer thinks, and it says, hey, look over there.
And I am fooled by that somehow.
Oh, this is horrible.
You say horrible, but I don't think that means what you think it means.
It's inconceivable.
There you go.
Oh, man. Wow. And I challenged you to this game, too.
Ooh, people are saying, Steven just said he finds himself getting nervous and worrying the C64 is losing.
Oh, yes.
Yep, Rick is saying knight can chase a pawn, but he doesn't know if it can be captured before the damage is done, and we have now seen that indeed the damage got done.
My computer said E4 to D6 just because my human is telling me I still have to make some move or other.
I respond right away with B8 to C7, putting you in check and telling you I want your knight.
Yes.
But you'll just move your queen over, presumably, to guard that knight.
Theoretically, I'll move my king over, but it's just a matter of
I better
time.
not lose that queen right away. I'll be very disappointed in myself.
Oh, you can't
If it goes
possibly.
wasted. You would be surprised. If I was in charge of this, come on.
You weren't on the dev team for Colossal Chess, were you?
No. It's actually Colossus chess.
Colossus Chess.
Yes.
Ah, like the giant computer in the big cave.
That's what I liked about it. This is the voice of Colossus. This is the voice of world control.
Nice, but you know what happens then after it wins this game. Then it takes
over
over
the
your
world.
house.
You all bow before me. I see no downside.
Yes. Well, see, the thing is, Carrington. Oh, by the way, I did what you thought I was going to do. C5 to D5.
And I
Problem is-
respond immediately by moving my knight, just to let you know, B2 to A4.
Like
the pawn is not
Forbin,
going anywhere.
you're not going. You're just going to be a bit player in all this.
Am I now?
Wait. What was your move again?
I moved my knight up B2 to A4.
B2 to A4.
My horsey going galloping.
Interesting. I don't know why you're not just coming in for the kill.
I'm savoring it. That's why the Apple II is playing with you, toying with you.
Mine is thinking it's going.
Well, I'm not going to take the knight and just sacrifice my queen. That would be a pretty funny move if I did.
So I moved my king, D5 to E6.
Oh, I slide my queen over to take your pawn. I'm going to just slowly whittle away the rest of your characters.
That makes sense.
C7 to G7.
C7, 2.
And maybe
G7.
what I'll do is just scooch around and take away that other pawn and just let more of my pawns make end runs until I'm all queens.
Yeah.
It's going to be like the Pride Parade here, man. I'm going to take over this whole thing.
That would be a little overpowered, I think.
I hope so. I have no problem with that. People have commented that your software does take a lot longer to think than my software.
It apparently didn't help.
Kirk has commented that apparently the Cyrus 2 strategy of trying to put me to sleep with your slow moves has failed.
My computer moved D6 to E4.
So that moves your horsey to E4. Correct? Yes. Oh, and you've had me pause to think. My computer hasn't actually stopped for a while. I just moved my queen down. Remember that queen, the thing I have that you don't have? Yeah, I'm moving it. G7 to G4.
I do remember it, actually. As in staring down the barrel of it.
I would like to point out that yesterday I beat you with Sargon 2, and today there's a good chance I'm going to beat you with Colossus Chess. Just saying.
I think a very good chance. And I'm in check. And when I get myself out of check,
you're losing your knight. Well,
that's
unless
right.
you'll move.
No, I could move down and diagonal. Yes,
yeah.
Still protect my.
In which case, you'll just lose your pawn.
My king. Right. Come on, there's not that much to think about.
Amazing at chess, and we're able to analyze the game now. That's why we're saying he's gone.
Yeah, if you whittle it down to about 3 pieces,
you've gotten so good.
I can.
Oh, you moved differently than I thought you would. Look at you
yes.
being more aggressive. I thought you'd move your queen.
I did. I moved F6 to F5. Just to say, in your face.
I'll just take your pawn. And not a surprise. G4 to H4. Gimme, gimme, gimme.
G4 to H4. And there it goes. Wow. Wow, interesting. Yep, I see how I can checkmate you now. Not really. E4 to D6. I'm bringing it all home. I'm playing defensively.
Bringing it home. E4 to D6 moves your knight, and causes my software once again to do one of its little pauses. Now, sometimes I think it's pausing. Sometimes I think it's just like doing that little wiggle your fingers together, like in Glee. Like, wow. Could be doing that. Hard enough.
With the evil laugh. What was your move?
Slide my queen up behind you, H4 to D8.
H4.
I notice I haven't actually used any of my other pieces for a while. It's basically just the queen.
To D8.
Come on, just give up already. You know you want to. Well, you know I want you to.
Now I will burst forward with one of my pawns and defeat
yes, Dan,
all of your
in the
pawns.
Comments, I did just call one of the chess pieces characters. Nice catch. I thought that when I said it too. I'm like, what kind of game do I think this is? I'm role-playing my characters. All my pieces have stats and backstories.
And playing cards. E5 to E4 is my move. In fact, I'm trying to collect all 16.
Are you? Okay, cool. Oh, so I'm going to do some pawn trading, it looks like, maybe. So I
Why?
move G2 to G4 because I want another queen.
G2 to...
It's one of those things. I'm being nice to you. You haven't taken a piece in a while, or character, as I might want to call them. So I'll let you have this one.
All right.
Give
Well,
me. Or don't have it, in which case I'm going to run past you and get another queen.
I'd be a fool not to. However, I was a fool before. I can't believe that it didn't take your pawn with the king instead of doing what it did. I just honestly can't believe it.
There you
And
go.
now,
We're trading.
Yep. You saw the move, right?
F5 to G4.
Correct.
And presumably my pawn takes yours. No, I don't. How interesting. I put you in check instead with A4 to C5.
Which will force me to do something else instead. A4
at some point I'm going to take that pawn. But...
to C5. Interesting. Yes.
I would have thought that's not good for me.
You put me in check. No, it might be.
Well, wouldn't you move your king down near my knight, forcing me to move my knight away, and then your pawn takes my pawn, and your pawn can make a run to the end to become a queen? Am I wrong about that?
Well, let's see.
Because if you move your knight to D5, or your king to D5, I have to move my knight. Even if, so what? Why did I do this? Okay.
Could you not just?
You've done what I thought you would do, but okay.
Maybe that's not so good.
I'm really hoping my software sees something.
E6 to D5.
D5, which moves my knight, and then you take
another turning point.
Your pawn will take my pawn and then become a queen. Will it not?
One would hope. What was your move?
My move was C5 to B7. Which is weird because I would have thought I'd move down to B3 because then I could hop over to D2 and then
at least take that other pawn.
Get your queen. So clearly your pawn takes my pawn.
And I think at that point it's inevitable.
No, it's not, because right now if you take my pawn, my queen will take your knight, and then I think it's checkmate.
Interesting.
Oh no, you'll just have to move away from me, but because you can't take my knight or I take your. So that's it. I'm doing this and saying, take my pawn. If you take my pawn, I take your knight. And if you don't,
I'm going to be in trouble. I think the only thing
my software is just better at this than I am.
The only thing I can do is take your pawn, though.
I don't know, because if you do, I'll take your knight. So you've got to move your knight instead and let me take your pawn.
I can't move my knight. My knight is interposed between the queen and my king. I can't move my knight.
I think my software is something I shouldn't play against. Because clearly I
know I shouldn't play against my software because it puts a serious whooping on me. It's like, what in the heck? That little 6502, little tiny chip. I keep in mind that I can still smash it with a hammer.
Hey, it's awesome. Oh, look at you moving your. Oh, see, but you're keeping on the offensive, so I can't. Those pawns just sit there waiting for one of us to have a blank move. So you move your king instead.
D5 to C6. Yes. Interesting.
Interesting. So I take your knight with my knight, moving B7 to D6. You are down to king and pawns. And I can't even tell them apart. That's my trash talk, in case you're wondering. That's my chess-style trash talk. How's that working out?
B7 to D6. It's a fascinating move. At this point, I must take your pawn.
Run away.
Could be very close to checkmate. I'm just trying to see how it's going to play out here.
Because you could just take the pawn instead, and then see if you can get a queen quicker than I can do the run down, or move your other queen down. Oh,
that's what it did. G4 to H3. I don't think I'm going to be able to, though, because you can just harass me with check until you can bottle me up in a corner.
Maybe, or I'm going to try to I can move my knight down one more move. Anyway, I move my knight to take your pawn, so I move D6 to E4, and presumably later I'll move down to F2, so that when you get the queen, I just take it immediately with my knight.
So D6 to E4, you said? And that puts No, that's one
Yeah, because I
off. Yeah,
can
one
get to
off. You
that
don't put
square in
me.
2 moves, and so can you. So if you go down to you do H3 to H2, I'd move F or sorry E4 to F2 to move my knight in position. Again, talking like I'm an expert at this chess, having learned so much over the last 45 years.
Aha! I wondered if I would try to start sneaking that other pawn down there, because
I'm
now
not
I've got
impressed by that.
two pawns that I can. So A5 to A4, because that's going to give you two targets, and you can't be in two places at once.
Sure, I
But you,
can. I'll just move my queen one space to the. Oh no. Okay. Yes. There we go. So queen D8 to C8. That's what I was thinking I would do too. Like just move the queen over and say, you know what? Forget this action. Start moving your king.
yeah, see, that's what I mean. You can check harass me for forever.
I'm going to check
Um,
harass you.
check fraud. So yeah, see, so I'll have to. It's going to be bad at this point.
You say bad. I think good.
It's funny how we're opposites that way. We complement each other.
You would think though, considering you have just 2 pawns in your king, and I've got a queen and a knight and a pawn, that I would be able to just quickly win.
I
But
don't know
it
if you can
doesn't seem to be
quickly
happening.
win, but I think that you can bottle me up in a corner.
Yes. We were talking before about the draw, and I know at the beginning when I launch Colossus Chess, you have to give it what the draw conditions are, and like how many sort of repeated moves will be considered a draw, and
Ah,
like how far if we can look ahead and say I'm not going to be able to get a checkmate. And I actually gave it. I went the opposite way. I thought high numbers meant it would not go for draws, and then reading after we started, I read in the manual that it turns out by picking those high numbers, I made it really eager to have a draw and willing to give up quickly. So that's not working in my favor. I'm really worried that it's going to say, oh, well, let's call it a draw even if I'm ahead. So you moved your king, it looks like.
I did. C6 to D5, coming down to threaten your knight,
I don't feel threatened.
theoretically.
I mean, I might move, and I presumably I'll move it over by my king, saying that you got to move your king and I'll take your pawn otherwise. But I did not. I moved my queen instead. Okay, so I moved C8 to F5 because again, my software presumably knows a lot better than I know.
C8 to F5, putting me in check.
But it's a really good check.
And at that point, your queen is now in play.
To take the pawn.
Yeah. I will have to move my king. Your queen
If you
will
move
take
your
my
king,
pawn.
just say down one, for instance, then you can't take my knight, but you could take the pawn, but then you'd be really close to me just, again, scooching down my queen or something. But, okay, no, you moved away like a coward.
That's fascinating that I moved there. I would have seen moving. Well, I couldn't move down because of the pawn. Interesting.
And I took the pawn. Remember that
Yep.
pawn you used to have? Yeah, you don't have that anymore.
Of course you would
So
take the
I
pawn.
moved F5 to H3. This is now a war of attrition. I'm just going to take. I didn't want to take your king until I get all of the rest of your pieces. I want this to be a sound defeat.
My only move now is to move that pawn, which of course your queen could just come down and eat as soon. And if it just winds up just being my king, then I believe it is definitely time to resign. I don't even know how I resign with this game.
You
I don't know
resign
what
by
I
me
push.
winning.
I do have a sledgehammer. That is one way of resigning.
It is, but
There are, other consequences of that. C6 to B5, coming in for the kill.
are you going to take your own pawn in a surprise move? Earl says, I was on your side the whole time, dude.
At 2, pawn A.
So I slide my queen up to put you back into check. H3 to D4. Sorry, D7.
H3 to D7. I will move my king. You will take my pawn. Actually, I could move my king down and still protect my pawn.
Do it. I dare you. Look at
There we go.
you.
B5 to B4.
You took the dare. My software thinks with glee, but all its many options.
Your software is drooling. I can see
It
it.
says, you know what? I want your pawn. So I move my horsey, my knight, E4 to C3, which is totally what I would have done. Now that I'm
Yeah,
a
that's
big
what I was
chess
thinking.
master who's able to type letters.
And
I've
I
even learned to
can't,
spell H.
and I can't take your horse because you're king.
You
So
wouldn't want my horse. That would be like me.
now what shall I do? I
Oh.
could move down and to the left.
Well, because I'm not going to take your pawn.
No, I can't, because then I couldn't take that pawn anyway.
But you would take my knight if I took your pawn. But
No, I
you'd be
wouldn't.
locking
No, I
yourself
wouldn't,
against
because
a wall. I would presume
'cause
you want your
it's-
king to stay mobile, and you don't want to get trapped up against an edge.
You can take my pawn.
But you'll never take my freedom! Is that where you're going with that?
I was hoping for the Braveheart quote. Yes! We worked it in, and we went up to 31 viewers just as you did that. Okay, and wow. B4 to C5. Turn out the lights.
Weren't you there a minute ago? So
I think
I
it
move
was.
over, D7 to C7, and I put you in check.
Can't you just get this over with? Take the stinking pawn.
I probably will do that next, depending on where you move, but
D7.
you better not just move back to where you were. So I move D7 to C7, putting you in check with my queen. And you move right back to where you were, you coward. So
And I don't know why you moved your queen there. You should have taken my pawn with your knight. I couldn't take your knight because it was in
I think
diagonal
I want to
with your
scooch
queen.
my queen in. I want to do this, trap you in and bring my queen down. So my queen moves closer to you, C7 to B6, and while my queen does that, it makes that noise from Jaws. My queen actually is going to sink into the board, so only that little pointy bit is sticking up.
It's a bummer that the Apple II only has that tinny little speaker because I couldn't hear that
You're
Jaws
saying
sound.
bad things about this computer, and yet...
Ooh, and I move immediately B4 to A3 without even thinking about it.
Because
That's probably the fastest sticking move that it's made.
because you
the
had
whole
so many
game.
moves to do. I say B6 to B2, and then I say that glorious word, checkmate.
I refuse. I'm not going to press enter.
I'm sorry.
Not going to do it.
It's lovely.
Okay, fine. And that's it, folks. The game is sadly over.
Well, that was delightful. Regardless of the outcome, although I am pleased about the outcome, that was actually really fun to do, and it was a great idea, Earl. I'm glad you came up with it. And hopefully going forward, we can do a couple of... Earl and I have been talking about other things that we can sort of do battle with 8-bit computers. Not even just the Apple II and the Commodore 64. I'd love to bring... Let's get an Atari guy in here and go head-to-head on things, or a Sinclair, BBC Micro, like something else from vintage computers. And there's a lot of games that we can play against each other. There's board games.
There's chess. There's checkers.
Also,
There's badminton. There's
badminton. That's a great idea.
card games that we could play. Yeah.
So fantastic. So hopefully everybody has enjoyed
Wait, did
this.
I say badminton or backgammon?
Both.
Because they actually can't play badminton.
Mine could. The Apple II could totally do that.
That's one of the expansion cards, right?
In the comments, because I was commenting that your king was totally on my side the whole time, and it says Earl's king pulls a Kaiser Soze. Awesome. There were some really good comments. I'm really glad that everybody joined us to watch this. This was super fun. Thanks for joining in and watching. And if you have suggestions of other computers and other games or things that we could do to pit them against each other, if you want to see a BBC Micro versus, I don't know, a Sinclair ZX80 or something, playing backgammon, playing whatever, then just let us know, because this was super fun. We now know how to hook up these vintage computers to force Google Hangout to actually see them. That took quite some time, but now that we have that technology in place, we should be able to do this with multiple things, and maybe things that move a little quicker than chess even. So this was
we
super
have
fun.
the technology, and we're not scared to use it. Also, I would say that if there's Well, even if there's other things besides just the traditional kind of things that we've talked about that the computers can go head to head on. I mean, it's not like they can do arcade games, but you know what I mean. You move,
My
I
goodness.
move, you move, I move. I no, yours can't even do that. I want to see your Apple II play Wreck-It Ralph. I don't think it can do it.
I can put my Apple II on top of my Wreck-It Ralph.
Come on, Carrington. I want to hear challenge accepted.
Challenge accepted.
No, how fun was this? Thank you very much for everyone tuning in. I won't be tweeting again for the remainder of the month, but
In shame.
I'm going to go cower in shame. But this was so much fun. Thank you, Carrington, for the work you did on your side to plug in all of your computer stuff and make this happen.
It was super enjoyable. Thanks a lot.
And we're out of here.
We will
Adios,
have a
folks.
recap on the, because Earl and I both also share a podcast on the Retro Computing Roundtable, so we will no doubt have a recap of this in our show that we'll be recording tomorrow. And we'll talk to you guys then.
And be sure to check YouTube, because this video will be up there for your viewing enjoyment, unfortunately, forever.
People can analyze the move and see that moment you lost.
That's right. I'll see you all later.